This meeting is being recorded.
Still looking for it.
That's all right. Let's just go with it. What's up, everybody? All right, let's see if we can get this working. One of you guys talk to us. Let's see what we got.
Hey guys, happy Tuesday.
There we go. Happy Tuesday. Let me make sure I got the right password.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so it says password. Here it is.
Password want to come be upgrades.
I did it. Give us one second. We're trying to figure this out. You know what? I just figured it out. We're just gonna not do it. Just want to be able to help serve all the people that are not able to be here for our normal call at 4 o'clock. It just makes it hard for people that are working 9 to 5. But I'm in the studio today with my good friend Orlando Hernandez.
Hi,
And,
everybody.
I call him OJ. That's how I've known him for years.
Yes, sir.
And when I met, let me tell you the story of how I met OJ. It was golly 12 years ago.
Yeah.
My wife and I decided for our 5th anniversary that we wanted to go to Disney. So we went to Walt Disney World, and we had these 2 little West Virginia kids had the time of their life in Disney. And so we might as well have been like 2 10-year-olds going through Disney at that time. We were at that age we would have been 24 and 25. And so anyways, long story short, we have the time of our life, and then we get back from the trip, and I get up behind the pulpit on Tuesday night, and before I preach, I just share, hey, Destiny and I just got back from our 5-year anniversary trip. We went to Disney. It was amazing. And I jokingly said, if there's anybody watching out there that's works for Walt Disney and you want to hook us up or help us come to Disney more, let us know. The next morning, I get an email from this guy right here. And he was head of hospitality in the Disney resorts there. And he just so happened to be watching me preach that night on a Tuesday night. And he called me and he said, anytime you want to come to Disney, just let me know. So I took him on that offer. And he's the reason why we are Disney experts now.
Yes, sir.
Because of OJ. So we've made a lot of great memories. I'll never forget our first trip. This is what messed with me. Our very first trip that we took that OJ was part of, he was very gracious to us, and he got us reservations at my favorite restaurant. You know what it is? Polynesian Resort, Ohana's. And we're eating there, and he booked a time so that we could eat at Ohana's while the fireworks are going off at the Magic Kingdom. So we're literally eating the most amazing food on the planet.
Yep.
And they dim the lights and they play the music that goes along with the fireworks at the Magic Kingdom. And we had a whole window view of the full show. And it was like, pretty much ruined us forever with that experience. So it's like, man, that one experience. This is why Orlando is a great salesman, because that one dinner has cost me thousands of dollars. So,
You're hooked for life.
but no, OJ's been a tremendous friend to me, and even has become a son in what we're doing here in Covington. And he actually moved here. How long has it been now?
2.5 years.
2.5 years that he's lived with us here in Covington, and literally walked away from that industry. He's worked at Disney, he's worked with Sheraton, he's worked with Apple, and has been involved in hospitality for 20 plus years.
Yep.
And he's the best. And so, like, even when we talk about Disney, when we would fly in, he would literally clear his calendar as best he could. And literally, he was our personal tour guide all throughout Disney. So, like, he would come in, and we literally had the cheat code of Disney. We would go from one thing to another. He told us the restaurants, he told us how to book our days, he told us, like, we just had the ultimate cheat code in that. But hospitality has definitely been a huge point for Orlando as long as I've known him. That's what he has always represented to us. And then when he made the decision to transition out of everything he was doing in Florida to move up here with us in Covington, that was a big deal, and still is a very big deal to me. And but he's been a great friend for 12 years. We've developed this relationship. One day we'll have to talk about your encounter with Jesus in Las Vegas. That was pretty big.
Absolutely.
Which, by the way, my daughter starts fall ball, or she has started fall ball. She's got practice tonight here in a couple hours, and her team is called Vegas Gold.
Woo! Come on. Now we're
So,
talking.
fall ball is not like real softball. You know, I hope you, I don't know if you know what that means, but like spring is the main season, and fall ball is almost like a practice form of that. So they don't get nice jerseys, they don't get anything like, but they do get jerseys. And so instead of being like school names or whatever, or, you know, pool names, it's like you get to pick a color. So her coach was like, well, if we don't get a cool name, then I'm going to pick a cool color name. So
That's
she's
it.
like Vegas Gold.
Love it.
So, anyways, but today I want to take some time with Orlando to share with you a couple things. Number one, I want to give some announcements before we get in this conversation.
Yes, sir.
Number one is Orlando is doing a whole course for everybody in Wise Builders for hospitality in your online business. So this is going to be huge, man. Like huge. Like you're going to have somebody that's been in the industry for a long time literally show you how to translate hospitality into your digital products, hospitality into your online business. And so that is absolutely huge. And so today, before we recorded this, we went out to eat at our favorite little place in Conyers. Hallelujah to
Thank
Jesus.
Jesus. Yes.
It's called Thai in a Box. This is the best Thai food around here.
Yes.
And but anyways, we were talking about it, and he was telling me, like, I want to bring a course into Wise Builders. And so he's absolutely going to do that. And then we're going to even give you the ability to book calls with him for one-on-one coaching for hospitality in your business. So this is super cool for me to just see this thing continue to expand and expand into new ways, new territories. And I think this is a really, really big deal. So, OJ, let's talk hospitality. Like, let's give a little preview of that. We're getting ready to record a podcast, by the way, as soon as this call's over with on this very thing. So you guys are getting the preparation for the podcast talk here. Let me let somebody's coming in here. Uh-oh, we got two people coming in here. Oh no, it's just Carrie and her AI robot. Wait for Carrie to get in here. Allow recording. All right, we gotta let Carrie and her robot in. So, but anyways, let's talk a little bit about your experiences in hospitality, and then let's talk about how it can translate into this digital space a little bit.
Absolutely. I think for me, hospitality began in my first job. I was a bagger for Pueblo markets. And what I discovered in that job is that I was very emphatic. I will have a lot of empathy for people. And that helped me understand that I was doing hospitality without even trying. Because hospitality is nothing more than the art of making people feel good. to
Mm.
anticipate their needs, to, you know, sometimes you can read people's minds, body language, the way they talk, their tone, and all that is communicating something to you before that person even talk. So hospitality pretty much is anticipating all those things and trying to read people before they come to you so you can serve them better.
Mhm.
So after that, I started my career. I did a uh, business administration master's degree in college. But while I was doing that, I started working for some of the most recognizable hotels in the world. I started at the Ritz-Carlton,
Oh wow.
and that was my first hotel experience that they ruined me from life because the training that they gave me then, it was so intense, so focused on people, on anticipating their needs, on making them feel at home, being outside of home, that you could see on people's faces they were in heaven. I'm telling you, you go to Ritz Carlton, from the moment you get out of the car, they know your name. They know how long you're going to be staying. They know who is your family, if you have pets. And they prepare the whole experience based on you. Like what makes the Ritz Carlton the best hotel brand out there is the anticipation of needs.
Mhm.
And that is hospitality on steroids. So after that, I was able to have a lot of openings in other hotels like the JW Marriott. I worked for Sheraton. That was one of the hotels I worked when you know me. Gaylord Palms, which was a big resort convention center hotel in Florida that had a lot of business. And then that transitioned me into Disney, which I spent 10 years in Disney World. And I started from the bottom. I started the merchandise at the parks, and I kept growing until I was one of the managers at the Contemporary Resort. And all those experiences have been molding my career, not only in hospitality, but in business and customer satisfaction. And I believe that's one of my specialties, and that's what I want to bring into Wise Builders, how to anticipate the needs of your clients. So you're not only selling them a product, but you can create a customer that's going to be loyal to you no matter your price point.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think about Disney, you don't think about price. You
No.
want to go to Disney, you don't care how much it costs. When you want to buy an Apple product, you don't care how much it costs. You just buy it because you know you're going to be satisfied. You know that they're already satisfying your needs even before you buy it. And that is hospitality in steroids put into a product or a business. So that's pretty
good.
much what I want to bring into Wise Builders and just teach you how to create loyalty, customer satisfaction, and even deal with prices.
That's good, man. I love it. OJ tried to prepare me for the Disney experience, but there's no way to really be able to like. First of all, I love that you brought up Ritz Carlton because you're absolutely right. Like their level of hospitality is unmatched, and just like 30 minutes down the road, we actually have Ritz Carlton there by Lake Oconee.
Yeah.
The spring retreat that's there, and or the lake retreat. And Ritz Carlton's like an amazing experience. I forgot that that's where you actually got your start was there. But obviously the hospitality, the training on hospitality was so important for you that that's what kept you in the industry. So I think that's really cool. And then it translates to Disney. And I love what you're saying about like when you provide great hospitality, it doesn't matter the price point.
Absolutely.
That's a key, guys. I'm looking back at the screen, and that's the key. Like, you know, we always say this, like how good, like, but people are going to pay you based upon how great the offer is, but they will stick around for how well you delivered that offer.
Absolutely.
And so it's like if you're making an offering of a high ticket item of $5,000, okay, but then you give them way more of an experience
Absolutely.
than they even anticipated. You give them value and wisdom that's beyond anything that they can anticipate. Where they're literally sitting at home and they're done with your session and they're still thinking about what you talked about or what you taught them or whatever. It's like then it goes, okay, but when I'm done with this 6 months or when I'm done with this offer, like what can I do to stick around and be a part? You know, like and that's because you show up and you provide hospitality. You show up ready to serve. You show up anticipating needs. And I love what you said, and I want you guys to make sure you write this down. Is he said, you know, when you go to buy a product from Apple or when you go to Disney, Like you don't care about the price because you know you're going to get an amazing experience. And so like I think about Disney, you know, with
Yeah.
you helped open the door for us to experience that many times. It's like when you get, first of all, my first trip, they were doing airplane pickup at the time.
Yep.
And we flew in from Chattanooga, Tennessee, flew into Florida. Soon as we get off the plane, they have a sign up there that says, "Welcome to Disney," and basically said you don't have to go to baggage claim.
Mm-mm.
So, bingo! Like I'm like, let's go. You're telling me that I don't have to go to baggage claim?
Nope.
This is awesome. So me and my wife go straight to the bus, and it's a premier Disney bus. We have an amazing greeting when we get there. They're passing out balloons. They're doing all these fun things for kids. They're loading up your luggage, putting it on there. And this is no joke. We get there, they drop us off and say, just go to the check-in, the registration area. We go there, they check us in, they give us all the stuff that we need. And then they said, hey, if you want to go directly to the parks, you can. Or
Yep.
if you want to go to the room, you can.
Yep.
It's totally fine with us. And we were like, we want to go to the room because we had done an early flight. And we get into our room. And when we got there, our bags were already set up.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Mickey ears made out of towels and all this kind of crazy stuff. And they had everything laid out perfectly. And man, there's so many things I could talk about the Disney experience and how amazing the hospitality is.
Well, what people don't understand sometimes is the whole Disney culture comes from Walt Disney. And the reason why Walt Disney wanted to create the Magic Kingdom is just to have a place for him to go and enjoy with his daughters.
Wow.
He was a family man. And he knew that that was something that every single family in the United States wanted, was a time away from work, a time away from your business, so you can be in a place where you're outside of the reality and just spend time with your family, have quality time where you don't have to worry about your phone calls, your job, any of your normal day duties. And everything on the Disney culture has to do with that. That's why they did that. They know that if you're coming from a plane, you don't want to be dealing with bags. You don't want to be dealing with, where do I go now? Can I go to my hotel? Can I go to the park? You can do whatever you want. You are on vacation, and they make it easy for you to go on vacation. And not only that, when you get to your room, your bags are there. Like you can, if you have the meal plan, you have reservations, you can go straight and go eat, do whatever you want, spend your day. When you come at night, your bags are gonna be at home. That's what they call it when you get to the Disney Resort, welcome home.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want you to feel like. And that's exactly hospitality, making you feel at home outside when you're at home. So no matter if you're at a Disney Contemporary, if you're at Disney Grand Floridian, whatever resort you are, they're always going to greet you, welcome home, and you're going to have the same exact experience.
Yeah.
And what they know most is that that treatment has more value that sometimes money can buy. So they can charge whatever they want for it, and people are going to pay it.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and then it gets in your mind like, okay, we didn't stay at some really nice resort the first time we went there. We
Yep.
were about middle of the road.
Mhm.
But then we started thinking to ourselves, if this is the level of hospitality at the resort that we stayed in, like what's it going to be like when we stay at the Polynesian?
Mhm.
And it's like, and that translates to digital products.
Absolutely.
And it's like, this is what I teach you guys all the time. The value that you give freely on social media is what's going to make somebody pay for your product. And the value that you give on a low ticket item, when people say, my God, I gave this person $50 a month, Wise Builders, you give them $50 a month, and look at the transformation that's taking place through the conversations that we're having, the coaching calls that we're doing, through the lessons that we're watching. Like there are people in this group that you barely knew how to turn on your computer before you joined this community, and now you're making courses in Kajabi. You're building a community online. Like you're learning how to write books. Like these are very important skills to have as we transition further into the digital age. And you guys are still pioneering. There's so many people that haven't made this jump yet, and you guys are forerunners in this. Absolutely. In a lot of ways. And so, but free value done well leads to paid value. And then if you can offer really well on a low lower ticket item, then when you offer your high ticket item, because of the transformation you've given at a smaller price point, they're like, I don't care what the price is. I want to work with you. I literally had a phone call this last week with a man that is a editor, senior editor of a major magazine. And he said, I saw your videos. I watched all your videos. And he was like, at the end of the day, and even this call confirms it, I just want to work with you. Never even asked me for a price. like he was like, I could have threw out the number like $50,000 to work together. He would have paid it.
Absolutely.
Because he's like, I just want to work with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the world? And so he was like, you're the first person that I've called, like from an agency. A lot of you all don't know what Longpath Publishing all encompasses. You know, Wise Builders Business Community, but like we have what we do as a company is Wise Builders Business Community is the entry point. And then we have our coaching.
Yeah.
But then we partner with major content creators. Like one of our clients has a YouTube channel of over 700,000 subscribers, has a Facebook following over 1 million people.
Yep.
Like we work with some pretty heavy hitters on the online space that nobody knows. We're behind the scenes doing it and we like it that way. But that's where we really make our income in this business, is partnering with content creators. But my heart is I want to bring about a entrepreneurial revolution. And so like, that's why I started Wise Builders, and that's why I started coaching, because I want to show people how to actually do this. And if you want to know the difference between Wise Builders Business Community and coaching, the coaching clients get Wise Builders Business Community, but you get faster results because I'm right there in your corner, being able to tell you exactly what the next step is. Like, okay, this is where you're at. This is what you need to do. This is the next step. And there's no guesswork in it. And and I won't let you chase shiny objects, you know? So it's like, oh, that's really cool. No. Let's get right back here and let's do the very next thing. But there's a level of hospitality in it all. And if you show up and you have a heart that's willing to serve, which is what happened with that man with the magazine. He was like, man, I can feel your heart to just show up and serve people well. And I want to work with somebody like that. That's hospitality.
You know, there's a psychological aspect to hospitality, which is called emotional intelligence. And that tells us how we feel about things. So when you have big giants like Coca-Cola, Apple, Disney, they're working on a psychological level for you to like their products, for you to always want to search for them, and even have global domination, because they know how to tap into your subconsciousness for you to choose them even before you even trying to get any of their products or services.
It's kind of scary.
It is scary.
A little bit.
But that's the level of hospitality that these companies have access to, and we can all have access into that, because the major aspect of that psychological emotional intelligence is simply how we feel. And you said that man said, I just don't want to work with you. We can feel it. And that's you've done something through your videos already. That's creating that hospitality ambience that is telling people, I want to work with you. I want to get to know you. I want to know what you're doing right now, and I want to be part of that. And to transfer that feeling, what you're making those people feel when they see your videos, that is hospitality, and people don't even realize it, because you really have to have the desire to serve, right? What is the first thing that you ask yourself when you are trying to get into a business? Who is my ideal client, right? That's the first thing you ask yourself. Who is my ideal client? And how you figure out, you need to figure out, who do I want to serve?
Yes.
And then you don't wait for them to come to you. No, you got to go to them. So that's the second question. How do I get to those people? Do I find them in Facebook? Do I find them in Instagram? Do I find them in TikTok? Like there's levels into this that we can keep going deeper and deeper. But those questions that you ask yourself in the beginning are the same things that are going to help you scale your business or even start your business. It's not really about what you're selling. It's about how you're making people feel about it since the very beginning.
Yeah, that's true. And I love what you're saying about they're selling to emotions, and hospitality deals a lot with emotions, because it's like, well, if I asked you what does Nike sell, like Nike, the shoe company, if I were to ask you what does Nike sell, you'd say shoes, and I'd say wrong. I say Nike actually sells motivation.
Absolutely.
They sell inspiration. They sell achievement. Like when we talk about Apple, they don't sell phones. They sell creativity. They sell simplicity. They sell innovation.
Mhm.
Like if you're talking about Red Bull, they don't sell energy drinks. They sell excitement and adventure and pushing the limits. Like
Mhm.
that's people are selling to emotions. And you know, we have the Coca-Cola Museum in downtown Atlanta area, right beside the aquarium. And when you walk through the museum, you see their kind of like history of Coca-Cola. And it's just really fascinating because they were the first ones to really develop like lifestyle advertisement.
Yes.
They are the creators of the modern day Santa. I don't know if you all know that, but Coca-Cola was the person that created Santa Claus in the red suit. That like the Santa Claus in a red suit is Coca-Cola all the way.
Yeah.
Some of y'all don't
Yeah.
know that, but that is the truth. And they created that character, and now it's infiltrated every area of a lifestyle, that now to the point you don't have Christmas without a red Santa and somebody you can take a picture with. And now we found a way to get freaking Christmas in July. And now we got Santa Claus wearing a Hawaiian outfit in the middle of the square taking pictures with kids.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like,
True.
that's not Santa. You smell like beef and cheese. It's an elf reference, by the way, for those of you that don't know. But yeah, so when you walk around in Coca-Cola Museum, they talk about lifestyle advertisement. And like, so they started doing advertisements basically of people living their life with Coca-Cola in it. And it's like, oh, well, if I'm going to have a barbecue, we got to have Coca-Cola, because I watched that commercial and they were at a barbecue and they had all those ice cold Coca-Colas they were pulling out of the ice chest. And like,
Nothing like that.
or they're sitting there at a dinner and they're like pouring Coca-Cola into a glass, and it's like they put Coca-Cola in everything that you could imagine into the lifestyle, implemented that into the advertisement. So it wasn't like one man standing up there going Coca-Cola, blah blah blah. You know, it wasn't that. It was like it was a voiceover with a lot of pictures of people doing life with Coca-Cola at the center of all those pictures.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, guys, we've got so much to learn when it comes to selling. We've got so much to learn when it comes to marketing. We got so much to learn when it comes to crafting offers that people will pay for. But the one thing that I can guarantee you, just in knowing OJ, is when you show up, that's that Thai food. When you show up when you show up with hospitality, people forget the price tag for the most part. You know what I mean? I mean, there's
Absolutely.
people struggling and can't do certain things. I get that. But I'm saying, like, when it comes to I'm going to make a decision to spend money, they're going to spend money where they're most taken care of.
Absolutely. And also that's why you have different price points on your business, because not everybody is going to be able to afford a high ticket price at the beginning. But if they're happy with your entry point or even your mid level, they're always going to try to figure out how to get that high ticket, because they're having a connection with you.
Yes.
And that connection is going to guarantee you that you're going to have a customer for life.
Yeah.
Because going back to Coca-Cola, one of the things that they do in hospitality is they adapt to the culture they're trying to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to South America, they don't try to sell the same thing that they sell here. Like, they have ads that makes people want to grab a bottle of Coke before they grab beer. And that in Mexico and South America, that's a big thing. Because over there, you eat with a beer.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you grab a cold one and you eat. But Coca-Cola has been so influential that now people just grab a Coke with their food. And they make ads of families together sharing meals with Coke. And everything is focused for you to change that mindset. And that's the way that they make you adapt. Not only they adapt to your culture, but you're adapting to theirs. And that is the return that you get in that, right? Hospitality is so psychological that you end up getting what you wanted from the beginning on the
Mhm.
long run.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like about Longpath and about other things that we're speaking in the family is that we know the goal and we know that we might not be starting there, but we know we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of intentionality, and being hospitable is one of those things that is going to help you get that in return, because you're not trying to sell a product or trying to sell a service. You're selling yourself, and
Mhm.
you're selling a mentality, a mindset that eventually is going to convince people that with you they're going to find what they're looking for.
It's really good. Coca-Cola is such an intriguing company. You know, first of all, I always like to say, you know, you're talking about a beer with every meal in like South America.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, in the South, we're so legalistic. We have major problems with a beer, but we can drink a soda that's chocked full of chemicals and have no problem with it. It's like, don't drink beer because that's
Right.
alcohol. And it's like, yeah, but then there's chemicals in the stuff that you drink. I'm like, get out of here. So, anyways, you know, but Coca-Cola is interesting. I've thought about this, like the depths that they would go to for hospitality and to get their product out there, how much they believe in their product.
Mm-hmm.
I was told this story by a missionary. This is crazy. A missionary that, you know, his heart was to get the gospel to unreached people groups. And so I won't share the area just because it's pretty confidential.
Yeah, of
But
course.
anyways, he went to this place and talking about like he first of all he flew to this country, then he gets in a boat and travels like 2 days in a boat
Mm-hmm.
down a river, then gets into a canoe because the boat won't fit to the next part that they're going. Gets in a canoe, gets there. When he gets there, friends, these people had never heard the gospel, but they had Coca-Cola.
Come on.
Okay. Okay. This is so crazy. True story, hand on the Bible type moment. They had Coca-Cola. Drinking Coca-Cola, had it in glass bottles with like a wooden type pallet that it was carried into.
And this is the thing. The reason why we're speaking a lot about Coca-Cola is because they have reached the pinnacle of what any business can reach: global domination. You go anywhere in the world, they know what Coca-Cola is, they know how it tastes, they know that they like it, and they buy it.
Yes.
There's no higher pinnacle in the business world than what those people are right now.
Yep.
And I think that's something that a lot of people can reach faster in the digital age, just because the internet is
Very true.
widespreader.
I'm experiencing that right now.
Exactly.
I mean, like I did one video and now it's up to 9 million views.
Hmm.
My like one video, 9 million views, and I've gained 65,000 followers from one video. It's crazy. So you're right. The digital age fast tracks that. So like I now have the ability to nurture 65,000 more people every single week because I now have that amount of followers.
And you have seen how it continues to grow.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's not going to stay there. It's
And
going to keep growing.
and all my other videos, like I have videos where I'm like, man, I spent a lot of time in that video and 400 people watched it. Well, now that video's up to 15,000, you know, and it's just like all these videos grow. But you're right in the sense of the digital age makes that so much faster. Now, I want to say this going back to the Coca-Cola thing. So the missionary's like, how did this happen? And so it just intrigued him because he was like, Coca-Cola got to a place faster than the gospel did. And it was like, so how did this happen? And so he found out, he started making phone calls. You know, there's always that 6 degrees of separation. So he started working those 6 degrees. He ended up finding, getting on the phone with a Coca-Cola executive.
Yeah.
And he gets on the phone with him. He said, I'm a missionary. I'm friends with so-and-so who's friends with so-and-so. And that's how I got in touch with you and got a meeting. He's like, that's awesome. How can I help you? And he said, I want to tell you a story, and told the story. And he's like, tell me how that happened. And the Coke executive said to him, we got to this place where we realized we had kind of like tapped out our current way of doing things. And so we were just like, we were doing really well, but it was like, how can we grow? How can we expand? And he said, everybody in that boardroom and in that executive meeting were like, we love this product. We know that there's untapped potential. We know that we can do something different. And whoever it was that was running the Coca-Cola company at the time said, guys, why do we have our greatest minds of Coca-Cola locked up here in these corporate offices when we should have you in the field? And you all, with your brilliancy of mind, let's take this product to the ends of the earth. And they put their best men out on the selling field to the point that these men got on a boat, got on a canoe, and took Coca-Cola all the way to this little unknown place. These village people risked their life for it. Risked their life for a $3 bottle of Coke.
Yep.
And you want to talk about hospitality? Like, it's one thing to risk your life for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to risk your life for Coca-Cola. It's like you show up as a white dude in a village where they've never seen white people. I've done that before. I've actually been the first white man that some people in India have ever seen. Like, we traveled into Chennai, India. Then we flew in, got to sleep a little bit, got in our car, drove 3 hours out into the middle of nowhere. This is so crazy. Here's another crazy story. This village that we went to never heard the gospel. But guess what? There's a man in a hut with satellite TV. I'm going, oh my God, how did this happen? And I'll never forget a little naked boy. He's half naked. And he's running around. I'm talking about a little tiny, like 4-year-old running around the village with his little wiener dangling down. And he's running all over the village. And we're like, what in the world? I look at his shirt. It's a Playboy bunny shirt.
Oh, my God.
He got the whole Playboy symbol on there. I'm like, my God, we got TV. And Hugh Hefner has a T-shirt out here in India before the gospel ever got here. I'm like, my God, we got some work to do, friends.
Absolutely.
But what I tell the story about, the India thing, tell the story about the Coca-Cola thing, because when you actually believe in your product, it like hospitality is just a byproduct of that.
Absolutely.
It's like, I know the value that I can bring. I know that this can actually transform your life.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is going to upgrade your life. And especially with what we're doing in Wise Builders, like, if you'll follow the steps, you'll put in the work, and you'll take risks to make an offer. Like, you can't do everything for free.
No.
You take the step, make an offer, go out and serve, show up, believe in your product, believe in your offer, believe in what you're doing. Hospitality just becomes a byproduct of that. You naturally want to serve people, you want to help people. And if you can keep that dialed in of hospitality. Another value of Disney is courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
Courtesy, hospitality. These things. I know this because I took a behind the scenes tour at Magic Kingdom, thanks to OJ, Keys of the Kingdom tour. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And realizing the intentionality about Disney is a whole nother
Yeah, you
podcast.
experience Disney in a whole different way.
We might need to do a whole podcast on that alone.
Oh, yeah.
But keeping that intentionality for hospitality.
And actually, that shows you the different levels that they have also.
Yes.
Because you can go to a park, but if you do a tour, that's another level, and that's another experience. And they have even more exclusive offers that not everybody can afford, I can assure you.
Sure.
Staying on a $25,000 a night suite is not something that everybody can do, but you have your own butler, you have your own housekeeper, chef, all the things. And you can go as deep as you want in Disney, and I think every business needs to learn how to offer things for people who wants to go deeper in what you're offering.
It's really good, man.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are taking notes. You're getting gems here. I don't care if you're in the ministry or if you're doing your cooking community, whatever it is you're doing, like, maximize the experiences and the offers and take it as deep as somebody would want to go. And honestly, you have to think about yourself, like how far you can go, what's your capacity.
Absolutely.
But I mean, like, that should just blow your mind that people are willing. Like, we're sitting here trying to figure out how to sell a $50 product. And there are people paying $25,000 a night to stay somewhere.
Yep. And that's just for a night.
My friend Jake Hamilton out in California, the worship guy.
Yeah.
His daughter has a rare disease, and end up finding themselves on a list, and they actually got picked to stay in the castle at Disney, which is how much a night?
I think that one is 40.
$40,000 a night.
Yeah, because pretty much you have the whole park to yourself at that night.
Yeah.
They
So-
close everything. You stay at that, and you have a guide for the whole night if you want to go explore. You have your own housekeeper. You have your own chef. They can cook you whatever you want from any of the restaurants that are there because he knows all the recipes. So
So you can pick any meal that you want from any restaurant on Disney, and they can cook it for you in that kitchen.
yeah, and that is extremely exclusive. Like
Lord, I want to do that one night. Just one night, I'd do it. It's amazing.
but something that I like what you said is you need to know your limits, but also you need to keep evolving
It's
as
good.
an entrepreneur.
Good.
Don't stay where you are today. Like one of the things that I'm doing daily is dedicating at least 1 to 2 hours a day to learn new things. And I believe this is something so important no matter what you're doing, what you're selling. Because one thing that I learned when I get out of college is that the business has changed already as soon as I step out of college.
Mm.
I had a master's degree in business administration, and in my first job after that, I knew that was obsolete already.
Wow.
And that's the importance of keep evolving as a person, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner.
It's good.
You need to keep evolving because everything is changing daily. And I would never recommend anybody to go to college because that was 6 years spent for nothing. Because like I said,
Same. I feel the same.
as soon as I got out of college, that information was obsolete. And even if you're gonna go work for somebody today, they prefer you have experience and that you know what you're doing instead of having that degree. Because the problem that a lot of kids were having is they never had a job in their lives, and they get out with master's degree. What are you gonna do now? You don't have any work experience. You got to start at the bottom, even when you have this degree. And at the end of the day, why spend $40,000-$60,000 on an education that is not going to take you anywhere when you can take that money and hire a business coach or hire somebody who's doing it? You can hire a 13-year-old kid who's making $40,000 on YouTube every month, and he can teach you more than what you can learn in college today.
So true.
So you got to keep evolving. You got to keep investing in yourself. And that's something that you teach constantly. And I've taken personally because I know it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Like from the moment I left my job, what I'm doing is investing in myself, watching videos, learning, practicing. That's another thing. You cannot try to be perfect in everything that you're doing, but every time you try, you learn a way that either it's going to work or not. But you learn from that experience.
Yes.
That's the important thing, that you learn from that and you keep figuring it out until you do. It's going to come one day like you have one video viral. That didn't happen because you didn't try. No, you tried multiple times until it happened. And that is everything in this business. Just keep trying to figure out, getting a coach, getting advice, getting guidance. And that is the importance of how business works today.
That's right. It's very good. Very good. All right. We got 15 minutes. If you want more, how many like to see OJ come back and do more training? Me, I would. But yeah, so OJ, for those of you that didn't get here at the very beginning, OJ and I announced that he is doing a whole course for hospitality and digital products for Wise Builders business community. And he's going to give you all an opportunity to book one-on-one call for strategy, basically for that. So be on the lookout for that. And man, wow, this has been so good. So I want to just open it up real quick for some questions. So who wants to go first? Got questions? You can ask OJ. You don't have to ask me. You get me all the time.
Hey, OJ.
Hey, how are you?
My name's Ryan. Where can we find you on socials?
I'll post a link in the,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm in Facebook everywhere pretty much. But yeah, you can just message me online and we can get in touch if you would like a discovery call, just to get to know each other and see how my practices and experience can be helpful to you. What I try to specialize is into learning what you do as a business, and from there identifying what areas I could be helpful for, and then create strategies that are tailored specifically to your needs. Because what I can advise Mark would not be the same thing that I would advise you, because you probably have different businesses and strategies and approach and experience. So all those things come to play when I try to make a strategy for you. But like I said, I've worked in many big companies, and customer service, hospitality, and all those things are my strength. And what I'm doing now for Wise Builders is to put that experience into how can you integrate those things into your business, so your social media, your website, even your products feel more approachable, feel more welcoming, feel like you're satisfying a need before even that person knows that they have that need.
It's good. Anybody else got a question?
I'll ask one. Um, so I've got a friend. Actually, Mark, you met her, Rebecca, my friend Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is hands down the best hospitality person that like walks in hospitality I've ever met in my life. I just met you, OJ, so I'm not comparing, but
No offense taken.
but what she does is like really practical stuff. Like, she hosts families. They host very well. And so there's like, I mean, she's got like Q-tips out and like just random things that you would never think about needing, like anything you could need would be there. How do you, like, what are some examples of how you would translate that to a digital space where it's not necessarily like how can I give somebody Q-tips on social media? You know what I mean?
Well, like we said on the conversation, is how people feel about you, right? And sometimes how people feel about you has to do a lot with the details. Like, what fonts are you using on social media? What kind of colors are you using on your videos? How is your tone? How is your body language? All those things are giving a message already before you even start speaking. So trying to figure out those things can be tricky, just because people have different perceptions and different preferences when it comes to those things, right? But there are certain colors, there are certain fonts, there are certain tones that are universal, and they are inviting. So when you say you want to give tips on social media, what could you be more specific about that?
I mean, it's not even like tips on social media. I worked with subprime real estate selling for years. So I
Okay.
sold subprime loans
She was
forever.
saying Q-tips.
Q-tips,
Like she was just talking about the details that they would go
Yeah.
into, like serving people and being hospitable, even to the point of putting little Q-tips everywhere, that type of thing. So like, what are basically, give an example of how it could translate of like the little Q-tips, so to speak, that you would put inside of what we're doing.
Is it for a brick and mortar, or is it for an online business?
Online. So everything
Online?
would be over Zoom or social media.
Yeah. So I don't know the business, right? But it's very important for people to know who they're dealing with. So whoever is leading that company should make a video of an introduction for people to know who he is, to know what kind of person he is, because the leader of a company brings a tone for the rest of the employees.
Which she's asking for herself.
Oh, for herself? Okay.
Yeah.
For yourself, you just gotta be yourself. Present yourself as a person. Like, what is in your mind? What make you want to serve that community, right? What are you passionate about real estate, about selling houses? What is the very motive, besides money, of course, that makes you do that job? Because from there is that you're gonna find why you want to serve people doing that, and that is the message you want to communicate. So if it is your business, then you need to make a video, introduce yourself, and explain those things in detail in the same way that you would like to hear it from somebody else. So be natural, be yourself, be somebody who is just trying to be original in the midst of all this AI revolution. Because people are seeking for a connection, a human connection. Because people are tired of chatbots, and all these things that we use today to keep our businesses, right? They want to know that they're speaking with somebody. The same thing that happens when you want to call a company to complain or to ask for service, right? You want to speak with somebody. You don't want to hear it from a machine. You don't want to hear it from a bot. You don't want to chat with a computer. No, you want to talk to somebody that understands what you're feeling, that knows that has feelings like you, and want to get to the bottom of your needs. So that is why you need to communicate.
How often do you think it's important to do like a video versus having like just posts with fonts and colors? Like how often do people need to see your face and hear your voice?
Well, my experience says that as often as you can, because people like to see you. Like my most watched videos are the ones that has my face on it and I'm speaking. Those posts has more engagement than when I post something on an image or if I do like a graphics video or anything like that. People want to see you. It, and that's the thing. People crave that connection. And I think you should do it at least if you can. You could do like a 30-second video daily. Like you can just jump in, record it, and just post it. And it doesn't have to have a script either. Like be yourself. What you're feeling that day. What would you like to communicate to your following? What you would like to say? Say something from the heart. Even to ask them how you're doing today. Get some engagement from people's feelings because that's gonna open doors in the long run for people to do business with you.
So true.
Okay. So on the heels of just hospitality, I mean, when I've been to those more high-end places, everybody's like dressed to the T, everything looks perfect, makeup's on point. I'm not a huge makeup fan. So does it matter, like, you know, when you're showing up on video, can you just throw your hair back in a ponytail and whatever, I'm here? Or have you found that it really matters if you look like you're really well put together, or?
I mean, you should always try to look good, but not necessarily have to do makeup and all that. People are more engaging with your smile and the way that you look at the camera. It's the same thing that we have in hotels that we call the 10-5 rule, that at 10 feet you look at the person in their eyes, and at 5 feet you smile at them. And your smile is welcoming them to talk to them. So how you translate that on video? The same way. You look intently to the middle of the camera, you smile naturally. Don't try to force it. You don't want to be creepy. And just, you know, talk easily with a nice tone and make your voice warm and inviting. You don't have to be talking fast like these TikTokers and all that. No, people want to know that they're having a conversation with a real person because now they have avatars that they can, use with AI and do all those things. But even cracking a joke will be very helpful. Even a
Like,
knock knock joke or something like that.
yeah, like where does a cat go when it loses its tail? Where does it go shopping at? A retail store. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's more of that came from Netflix special coming soon.
absolutely. Those stupid dad jokes always crack
Chuck
people.
Norris jokes are best.
Chuck Norris, your mama jokes. Well, no, that's too
Hey,
personal.
did you hear that? Here we go. Did you hear that Chuck Norris one time peed into a car, like into the gas tank of a car? Now we know it as Optimus Prime. Sorry. Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the world down.
But it's true. Humor sells.
It does. That's true.
Look at Kevin Hart.
Yep.
He's a comedian, and what is he not selling today? He's even at Chase Bank selling cards.
I know.
He's everywhere. And it's
It's so
because he's
true.
funny and people like him. And why they like him? Because it's humor. And it's not like you have to be a clown, right?
Yeah, right.
But show people your personal side. Show them that you can be funny, that you can be serious sometimes, that you can be caring. Showing that you have those emotions connect you with people. And that is part of hospitality.
Yeah, it's like one of the things that I think is a pet peeve of mine is where people get so robotic about what they're doing.
Yeah,
And it's like everything's robotic. Like politicians.
absolutely.
Have you ever met like a real deal politician? Like somebody that they have trained to ascend the hill of America
Yeah.
to be the next great thing. I've met plenty of them. And, you know, when we were pastoring in Tennessee and had a large ministry, a lot of those guys wanted to come through and speak to our congregation, you know, because when you have thousands of people there,
Everyone.
they want in, you know. So, but when you meet those guys and girls, those men and women, when you're talking to them, it's almost like you're talking to a robot. Every statement that they make is so robotic, and when that happens, it immediately like turns. It's a big turnoff for me immediately. Of like, I just check out of the conversation, and I don't trust you at all. And so, like, I hope one of the things that you all have seen about me is, whether it's this conversation or if I'm coaching you or we're on this call or whatever, is that my personality is always going to pop through. It's always going to shine through. And I can be serious, I can be passionate, and I can also tell Chuck Norris jokes.
Absolutely.
And it's like, that's just who I am. And people appreciate the authenticity. There was a study done about the power of frequency. I think you've heard me talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they did the study, and the most powerful frequency, what do you think it was? Love? Like love's the most powerful thing. But it was actually there was something 4 times greater than love. Authenticity. So now think about this. What happens when we learn to authentically love?
Yeah.
What happens when we learn to authentically be hospitable? Authenticity is always going to be the way to go. This is why I tell people, OJ, the market is never oversaturated.
No.
Like, I don't care what market it is. Like, people are like, well, I'm just scared to go into this market or that market because it's oversaturated. I'm like, yeah, but you know who the game changer is in that market? You. And you, because there's a million imposters in that niche. There's a million imposters. There's thousands of imposters that are out there that are doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
But when you show up with your sound, with your heart, with your frequency, and you put that authenticity out there, guess what? There's a whole group of people waiting on an authentic sound to hit them. And I know we only talk about this with preachers and the pulpit and stuff like it works in business too.
Yep.
And I feel like I've dialed in to that authenticity over the past month and a half, 2 months, and 9 million people have watched one video. And it's just like, just dialing it in. This is who I am. This is the kind of videos that I want to make. I'm tired of just, you know, the way we were doing it. I want to upgrade what I'm doing in this area, and it's paid off, but it's all authenticity.
You have to find yourself.
Yes.
You got to understand who you are as a person. Because if you don't feel comfortable trying to be a clown in front of a camera, don't do it.
Right.
If you're not comfortable teaching, then don't try to teach. Try to speak from the heart. You know, you got to find where you're comfortable, but that you can have an impact being yourself.
It's really good.
And that's what people sometimes don't understand, because they're trying to mimic everything they do. And the way that I approach those things is I take what is for me and the rest I leave it there, because I'm not going to try to be somebody that I'm not just to please or try to sell something.
Right.
Because people, one thing that I've learned is people can figure out really quickly if you're being fake, trying to just sell something, and that kills the connection instantly.
So true.
You have to be yourself. You have to believe in what you're selling. You got to be passionate about it. And that's another thing. If you're doing a business that you're not passionate about it, you probably have to find a new way, a new product, a new service, because you're never going to be successful because you're not passionate about it. And if you cannot sell that to yourself, are you going to sell it to others?
So true.
You know, those are little things that we need to figure out as a business community, even before launching our own products. And I'm not saying start from scratch to everybody, but if what you're doing is not motivating you every day to wake up, do the work, and try to figure out, then that's not the thing for you. You know, going back again to the first question that we ask when we do business is, who is my ideal client? And knowing that, I need to know what exactly, how I want to serve them. Is it a product? Is it a service? Is it something that I know? But people crave for learning. I was reading the other day the statistics that says that online business entrepreneurs make $17 billion last year. Billion with a B. Is the fastest growing business in the United States right now. And you guys have the edge on that. You're in Wise Builders, you're learning all these things. And this is just going to keep going up and up every day. This is not something that is going to stop. When you have powerful people in the world taking out their time to help other people make businesses and even do their own thing through online businesses, you know that the money is there. Because those people follow money. They don't follow trends. They follow the money. So my encouragement to you all is learn as much as you want. Like Walt Disney said, give everything you can give to people for free. That's not giving all your secrets. That's giving them enough value for them to come back every single time.
Yeah.
And even when you start doing your calls with people, don't try to rush through the time saying, well, I only got 30 minutes. No, take a minute to try to know that person. Try a minute to connect with that person, because it's better that you spend a little more time and you have a client for life than that person becomes a number into your list and then it buys from you one time and never again. So your intentionality should not be in selling, should be in creating connections, creating clients that are going to keep coming back no matter what you send at the end of the road, even if it costs 5, 10, 20, $30,000. Price point will matter at that point. Everything that we told you about today is not because we want you to start from the low point. No, the low point is a starting point, but you're going to get to that high ticket. And even that high ticket has to become something greater in the future, because when those clients that you have on the high ticket want something more, then you need to be able to offer something more at a higher price point, and they will pay it easily. And then you will be living comfortably with those offers that you're going to be making and effortlessly. So one last thing I want to say is business could be very difficult if you try to figure it out by yourself. That's why there's so many business coaches out there. That's why there's so many videos, resources, books. There has never been so many resources out there in the world like there are today to learn how to do business and how to dominate it. And I think it's important that you invest in yourself on a daily basis. And that's exactly what Wise Builders is all about. So I just encourage you to keep doing that. Go through all the courses, do the calls, trainings. Everything is there for you to simply grow as a person, as an entrepreneur, and to succeed in business.
It's awesome, man. Well, thank you, OJ, for your time today. And
Absolutely.
I hope you guys got a lot of value out of that. We're going to be recording a podcast right now that's going to go live Friday morning at 11 o'clock on Facebook. And then just be on the lookout for the courses that are going to come soon for hospitality in the digital product space. I think that's going to be phenomenal. And yeah, you'll see OJ in Wise Builders. I don't know why I hadn't done this already, but I'm going to bring him into Wise Builders. That way you can interact and ask questions with him in there. That'd be great. And yeah, just looking forward to seeing you guys Thursday evening at 8 o'clock. See y'all. Let's go. All right, I got to shut this off. I got to walk across the room now. Oh, yeah. Sing a little bit, Mark.
You just need a Hammond right here.
Sing.